Okay, I think it's safe to go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session as part of the resources to help restore your balance. Again, this is a series of workshops that we're offering this week with several campus partners across many different dimensions in many different departments. And today we have with us Dr. Irene Estores, who will be leading the Pressing the Reset Button presentation. If you have any questions, please forward your questions to the Q&A panel. The chat has been disabled, so please forward all your questions to the Q&A panel, and I'll kind of gather them and kind of forward them to Dr. Estores at the end of the presentation. And without further ado, Dr. Estores, take it away.
Thank you, and welcome to this 20-minute session on pressing the reset button. I follow a group on Twitter called Closer, which is a contraction of the words closer to Osler, Sir William Osler being the physician par excellence who was a teacher and clinician at the Johns Hopkins Hospital. A recent tweet came out last month, and the question was, what's the one word that comes to mind at this point in the pandemic? And my answer was reset. When I was asked to speak on ways to stay well as we return to work, I took this as an opportunity to reflect on this answer. Here's the dictionary definition: to adjust in a new and different way. Using principles from mindfulness meditation and positive psychology, I distilled 3 actions to work towards this goal: letting be, letting go, letting in. To those who are not familiar with mindfulness meditation and positive psychology, this will be a brief introduction and an invitation to explore. And to those of you who are already familiar with this, then this is a nice boost to keep you going. I will be giving a 5-minute, guiding a 5-minute optional session at the end of this talk, just to tie in these 3 actions. We are all swimming in a sea of fear right now. False events appearing real. For some of you, the representation of this acronym would be false expectations or false evidence. But in my experience of fear, I really don't expect the bad outcome, and I really don't have enough evidence. But boy, my mind can play tricks such that I repeat these stories over and over in my head until they start to appear real and true, when in fact they are false and imaginary. And during this time, we have no shortage of material for all these stories. During this pandemic time, we fear, among many others, being infected with COVID, being very sick with it or die, or having our family and friends and loved ones be affected in the same way. We fear the economic consequences of the change to the world economies and the world order. We fear the mental and emotional toll of being away from the people we love, from the new anxieties and burdens. We are afraid that we are not going to be able to meet the challenges, the new demands of work and parenting as we learn as we go, and one thing is already piled on something that's already quite heavy. We are afraid that we can make the wrong health and safety decisions. Am I being too cautious? Or I'm not being cautious enough? And as a consequence of that, maybe I'm missing out. I'm missing out on the things that I love, being with family, celebrating, rituals. And this can go on and on and on and on. So it's time to press the reset button. We can start by just letting be. So being in the present moment is central to the practice and the cultivation of mindfulness. This noticing what is going in your mind and body and allowing the experience to just be there, just as it is, to just pause. The problem is the present moment may not be a pleasant place to be. especially if we are in a difficult situation like where we are right now, or when we're experiencing a difficult emotion or a very intrusive thought comes to mind. So our tendency is to distract ourselves. We travel, we exercise in the gym or enjoy a meal with friends just to, because these are more pleasurable activities. So we grasp them, we seek them instead of just letting things happen as they are. And sadly, these external pacifiers, I would call them external pacifiers, have been largely taken away from us at this time. And yes, we may still have TV or movies and talking to friends, family on the phone, but they are still a way of escaping. They're not bad, but their benefits are temporary. Another tendency when we are faced with a difficult situation is to fix it, because boy, we are good at fixing. But the problem is that we can't fix everything. And if we try to tell ourselves, no, I shouldn't be thinking that way, I should not be feeling this way, when we resist, we actually give energy to the very thing that we want, to the very thing that we don't want. So resisting it allows it to persist. So by letting be, we can start to do something by doing nothing. Look at these words: noticing, sensing, feeling, sensing, accepting, allowing. So these are words that we often hear as part of a practice called the body scan. And the body scan is an example of how we can learn to just let be. It can be done as part of a formal meditation practice, or it can be done briefly in daily life whenever we have to start a difficult conversation or a task that we don't like to do. We can do this when we feel frazzled or tired, when we hear disturbing news. And the breath is an excellent way to focus our attention, the breath is an excellent object of focus. And why is that? Because the body knows how to breathe without our permission. And if it is shallow, that's all right. Just follow it along and watch it. And you may be pleasantly surprised that it does not stay shallow. It changes all by itself, because that's the nature of the breath. And as you notice the breath, you can notice other physical sensations, the feel of your body against the chair or the floor. You can notice the tension in your muscle, your jaw, your face, your neck, thoughts and emotions that are going on in your mind, and not force yourself to do anything about it. Just notice that they come and they go. Thoughts are fleeting. They are visitors. And when we notice that we are holding on to any of those, we can start the process of softening and letting go in a gentle and non-judgmental way. We can let go of physical tension, worries, anxieties, and fears of the future, judgments, guilt, regrets, and hurts. We can let go of being attached to the way life has been or how life is supposed to be, this normal that really is being redefined every moment. And as we continue this gentle and consistent practice, we may even be able to let go of an illusion. And that illusion is the illusion of being in control. So don't get me wrong. I make plans. I have a planner. I have to set goals. We all have to do that. But what I have learned is to not be attached to the outcome of these plans and goals. Because the truth is, I cannot control a future I cannot predict. Can I predict how my children turn out? Can I control the motivations, habits, and thoughts of my coworkers, my colleagues, my supervisors, the people I supervise? Can any obsessive planning on my part change the weather? The truth is, who could have predicted this pandemic? One of the ways that we can slowly learn to let go is to learn to be like fish. Leo Babauta, a meditation guide, invites us to do this. Fish swim in an ocean that it cannot control, with other fishes that it cannot control. It does not even control where it ends up. Unless, of course, you're salmon that needs to swim upstream for certain times of the year. But for the most part, it just flows with the current or changes its action depending on what happens to the current. It takes the current as it comes. A quote from Lao Tzu reads, "The master allows things to happen. She shapes events as they come. She steps out of the way and lets the Tao speak for itself." In 12-step recovery programs, there is a short slogan that expresses the same sentiment. It says, "Live life on life's terms." And then we let in. We cultivate positive individual traits: gratefulness, loving kindness, courage, and compassion. We want to lead meaningful and fulfilling lives, to cultivate what is best within us, to enhance our experience of love, work, and play. Certain forms of meditation focus on generating these emotions and aimed at cultivating these traits. Examples are the metta or loving kindness meditation. But as we head towards Thanksgiving, what I invite all of us to unpack is the positive trait of gratefulness or gratitude. Most of you may already be familiar with the practice of gratitude journaling, but there is also another easy practice that you can start doing right now. And I'm talking about gratitude letter writing. And now that we're not able to be with each other in person, maybe by gratitude letter writing, we can be with one another in our words. So give it a whirl. So at this point, I will guide a short meditation session that incorporates the actions of letting be, letting go, and letting in. This is on Insight Timer, an app, a smartphone-based app, and it comes from a group called Peace Beam. They are a UK-based group, and they offer short audios for busy people. Please check out their series. They have a wonderful series on Insight Timer, and of course, you can also follow them as well. You're free to join or leave the meeting at this time. And thank you. Thank you for being present and for sharing your gifts to the world. Let's begin. Eyes open or eyes closed, whichever is appropriate or comfortable for you. Step 1. Notice. Shift your focus down from your head to your heart. And now, check in. How do you feel? What is your emotional state? Just notice how you feel. No judgment. Observe. Maybe start to notice your face, Notice if your face is frowning, if your jaw is tense, or your toes scrunched up in your shoes. As you scan your emotions and your body and notice any tension, you can start to soften and relax. Step 2, breathe. Notice the breath moving in and out. Watch the inhale and exhale, deepening just a little bit at your pace, easy and comfortable. Imagine your breath moving in and out through your heart space. And stay with that image. In and out. Gentle and easy. Notice a sense of ease starting to arrive as your physiology moves into neutral. Step 3, activate. Today, we are going to use your smile as the activation. Whenever we smile, we activate a flood of feel-good chemicals in our brain. Endorphins, dopamine, serotonin relax our minds and lower our heart rate. The smile is also contagious. We are wired to smile back at a smiling face. And so we unconsciously create a symbiotic relationship that allows two smilers to release feel-good chemicals. And so it goes on. So now, as you are listening, smile. And really make it a huge smile. Don't be self-conscious. This is good for you and for everybody around you. Step 4, peace beam. Now we take that positive feeling, that beautiful smile, the calm and ease that you have accessed, and intend it for the benefit of everybody today. For you, the people around you, the people you interact with. To peace beam is to wish unconditionally and from the deepest part of your being, unrestricted good for others. Today, to anchor this practice, let everybody you meet be touched by the warmth of your smile. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.